The South China Sea might look calm, but it's a hot mess of arguments between countries like China, Vietnam, and the Philippines. Imagine a beautiful place with fish, oil, and gas underneath. Everyone wants a piece. China says they own most of it with a big 9-dash line, but others don't agree. It's not just about stuff under the sea, it's also a military chessboard with islands for control. This leads to clashes, making it hard for countries to work together and risking the peace in Southeast Asia. We need everyone to talk and find a way to share, or things could get pretty tense in this once peaceful sea. Join us on an intriguing journey as we unravel the complex relationship between China and the Philippines, delving into the significant role that NATO plays in the South China Sea dispute. China, being a strong and influential country, has complex claims over the South China Sea, incorporating historical, economic, military, and diplomatic dimensions. Historically, China points to a 9-dash line on ancient maps, suggesting historical dominance over a significant portion of the sea. Additionally, they emphasize a tributary system, where neighboring kingdoms paid tribute, asserting their historical sovereignty. Economically, China eyes the sea's abundant resources, oil, gas, and fisheries, to fuel its expanding economy. Gaining control over these resources is seen as a substantial economic advantage. Furthermore, the strategic importance of the South China Sea as a crucial global shipping route adds another layer to China's interests, offering potential leverage over international trade. Militarily, China boasts the largest and rapidly modernizing navy in Asia. They've engaged in island-building activities, constructing artificial islands on disputed reefs, and fortifying them with military facilities. This military presence allows China to assert dominance and deter challenges in the contested waters. In terms of international relations, China's approach involves individual agreements with some Southeast Asian countries, potentially undermining collective bargaining power and isolating dissenting voices. Notably, they've largely disregarded international legal rulings, such as the 2016 Philippines vs. China arbitration, causing strain with other claimants and drawing criticism from major powers like the US and EU. The international community has condemned China's disregard for established rules, raising concerns about the possibility of military escalation due to accidental clashes or miscalculations. Considering alternatives, multilateral negotiations, collective codes of conduct, and joint resource management agreements could provide more peaceful and sustainable solutions. Respecting international law, particularly frameworks like the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, would foster trust and cooperation. Ultimately, open communication, compromise, and diplomatic efforts are essential for resolving disputes and preventing further conflict in the South China Sea. The conflict between China and the Philippines in the South China Sea is a nuanced issue with deep-rooted historical claims. Both countries assert ownership over parts of the sea, citing historical maps, fishing practices, and their interpretations of international law. This overlapping ownership, especially around areas like Scarborough Shoal and the Spratly Islands, has led to ongoing tension and disputes in key events. A standoff occurred at Scarborough Shoal in 2012 when Chinese vessels blocked Philippine fishing boats, creating months of tension before both sides disengaged without further conflict. In 2016, an international tribunal ruled in favor of the Philippines in a lawsuit challenging China's expansive claims in the South China Sea. However, China rejected the ruling, straining relations between the two nations. Despite the tribunal ruling, China continues to assert its claims through activities such as island building, military patrols, and fishing restrictions. The Philippines opposes these actions through diplomatic means and legal challenges. While there haven't been recent violent clashes, concerns persist about the potential for escalation. International involvement adds another layer to the issue. The United States, a key ally of the Philippines, has expressed concern about China's actions and called for a peaceful resolution based on international law. However, the US is cautious, trying to balance without direct confrontation with China. Potential solutions to the South China Sea disputes emphasize dialogue, diplomacy, and compromise from all involved parties. Multilateral negotiations, joint resource management agreements, and upholding international law principles are suggested avenues. Discussing these complex issues requires sensitivity and respect for the diverse perspectives and concerns of all parties involved. Focusing on factual information, historical context, and potential solutions allows for a nuanced and respectful approach to this sensitive topic. Peaceful dialogue and cooperation are crucial for finding a lasting solution to the South China Sea disputes and ensuring regional stability. The Philippines, though not as strong as China, has smartly navigated the complexities of the South China Sea issue through diplomatic strategies, alliances, and adherence to international laws. They actively engage in conversations with other regional countries, particularly those sharing concerns about China's claims, fostering a collective approach. Additionally, the Philippines has pursued legal avenues, exemplified by the 2016 arbitration case where a global court ruled in their favor against China's expansive claims, despite China rejecting the decision. This legal victory strengthened the Philippines' position and garnered international support. In terms of strategic partnerships, the Philippines maintains a robust alliance with the United States, leveraging the significant military power of their ally to prevent potential escalation and garner diplomatic support. Furthermore, the country actively cultivates relationships with other key players such as Japan, Australia, and the European Union, creating a supportive network that bolsters its stance. Economically, while being cautious about China's influence, the Philippines seeks mutually beneficial trade relations. They utilize regional trade agreements to secure economic benefits while safeguarding their strategic interests in the South China Sea. The Philippines places emphasis on public engagement and advocacy, actively communicating with its citizens and the global community. They raise awareness about the environmental and economic risks associated with China's actions and advocate for peaceful resolutions based on international law. Despite facing a formidable adversary, the Philippines exhibits resilience and persistence in protecting its sovereign rights. The country continues to assert its claims through diplomatic channels, legal challenges, and public advocacy, demonstrating a commitment to its interests and the well-being of its citizens. In recognizing the complexity of the South China Sea dispute, the Philippines' approach provides a notable example of how a smaller nation can strategically utilize resources, build alliances, and adhere to international law to defend its interests against a more powerful state. It is essential to approach comparisons between countries with sensitivity, avoiding harm or disrespect, and recognizing that both China and the Philippines possess unique strengths and weaknesses. Focusing on these strengths while working towards peaceful resolutions remains the most constructive approach. The United States has long regarded the Philippines as major non-NATO allies, affording the nation special privileges in military and economic realms without formal security commitments. However, in a recent turn of events, the US has made a commitment to defend the Philippines, particularly in the contested South China Sea. This noteworthy development prompts a re-evaluation of NATO's relationship with the Philippines. Presently, NATO is strategically focusing on fortifying ties with key partners in the Indo-Pacific region, a list that includes nations such as Japan, Australia, New Zealand, and the Republic of Korea. Amidst these diplomatic maneuvers, the Philippines' diplomatic shift towards aligning more closely with the United States and its allies emerges as a significant geopolitical consideration. The designation of major non-NATO ally confers upon the Philippines certain privileges, spanning both military and economic domains. While this classification traditionally steers clear of formal security commitments, the recent pledge by the US to stand by the Philippines adds a layer of complexity to the existing dynamics. In light of the evolving geopolitical landscape, where the Philippines is recalibrating its foreign policy in alignment with the US and its allies, NATO finds itself at a juncture where reassessing its relationship with the Philippines becomes imperative. This juncture is particularly relevant as tensions escalate in the Indo-Pacific region and the Philippines positions itself as a key player. The Philippines, in its strategic realignment with the US and its allies, emerges as a pivotal player in the Indo-Pacific theater. This shift in foreign policy not only influences regional dynamics but also provides NATO with an opportune moment to reconsider its engagement with the Philippines. In a world where geopolitical tensions are on the rise, the Philippines' realignment with the US and its allies can serve as a valuable asset for NATO's global initiatives. As diplomatic landscapes shift and alliances evolve, NATO has the chance to broaden its network of partnerships in the region and strengthen its global approach. The Philippines, with its changing stance and newfound strategic significance, offers NATO a window to further its engagement and collaboration on a broader scale. What do you think about this? Let us know in comments section.